And we are here for week 2 of Wrestle Heads. Our buddy Amar Scott is back from assignment. How was the trip?
The trip was great. You know, seeing a lot of sights, you know, went and talked to a couple wrestling fans out in the Midwest, seeing how they were feeling about the show and what we can do to take the show to the next level.
Right.
You know? It was all in all, it was a great trip, great time.
That's good, man, and we're glad to have you back. You know, Randy and I, we were touching last week, we were talking about WrestleMania and the card, trying to put the card together. And what we want to get into this week, as we told you last week, we're going to really get into the Hall of Fame, and we're going to get into it in much more deeper detail this time. We're going to go one by each of the inductees, you know, whether we really believe they should be in or not, the situation at hand, and we're going to talk about obviously wrestlers who we think should be in there that haven't gotten the nod yet. So with that being said, let's go to work. First inductee, slam dunk, no one has any questions about it, Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah.
Hands down, this has been years in the making. It should have happened a long time ago. Hell, he should have went in there right next to Hogan.
Exactly. I felt when you brought in that 80s group, when you had Hogan, you had Orndorff, and all those guys going in, Macho Man should have been slam dunk in there with Hogan. I thought it was kind of off that you didn't have the Macho Man in there in that time. I was like, what's going on here? But, you know, it was political things behind the scenes that a lot of people aren't privileged to know about, but they kept him out for some years with some personal stuff. But now that he's in, I forget all about it.
Well, it was his fucking brother, you know? Well, actually, it was the Macho Man himself, too, saying that, you know, that he wanted his dad to go in, his brother to go in, and they just weren't Hall of Fame material.
Okay, hold on. Let's go ahead and bottom line it. The real reason is because he took Stephanie's virginity. That's the real goddamn
And he
reason.
said,
That's
shots
the real,
fired.
That's the real goddamn reason. He took Stephanie's cookie.
We don't know.
Before,
we don't know if he actually did that or not.
because you got to remember, he would have been in there even before he started talking the crap about his dad. I mean, his dad was a okay wrestler.
His dad couldn't hold his job.
Hey, I never heard of his dad.
No, I'm just saying. It's like a lot of people don't know John Cena is technically a second generation wrestler.
Again,
because of his dad. I'm just saying.
Only thing we know
Nobody,
about
but
his
they
dad
don't
was
talk
when
about
he got
that
laid out 2 years ago.
Well, it's been more than that. But what I'm saying is, these are things that people don't talk about.
John Cena Sr. got laid out.
But see, there's some truth to what Randy's talking about, because honestly, look, if it was just because of his bum ass pops or his bum ass brother,
They would have slid him in there.
They would have slid him in there sometime. You know what I mean? It had to be something personal that was nagging. Because you know, Vince holds grudges, and you know he does.
But see, the thing is, man, I've been a lifelong wrestling fan, and I just heard about this rumor about Macho Man smashing Stephanie like maybe 2 years ago. Like, it was real fresh on the brain. That's just something that I think would have got around a whole lot sooner, you know?
Well, maybe it could have, but I don't think it would have.
It's been been around. Just
We didn't know about it. It's been around in the wrestling circle.
I heard about it because I told Joe asked about it. I'm like, yeah. I said I think it's a story because Macho Man, you know, he liked to ask.
Yeah, but I don't see Macho Man doing that to no young Stephanie McMahon.
Why not? Why not? You remember? You got to remember. Look how look how he went out. He wanted to still wrestle, and they told him like, "No, you sitting behind the desk. You on the table." So it could have been all this personal animosity that you got Elizabeth being a whore and all this other stuff going on. So he could have just slipped up and fell. Hey, sorry, Miss McMahon, wasn't my week. This type of stuff going on.
Well, like I said, I'm not gonna cop to that one. I don't believe that one, but if it happened, man. And 2 people know about it. Macho Man and Stephanie. And she's still alive.
We're waiting on that interview, Stephanie. Give it to us.
She ain't gonna never say that.
So is that...
Especially with her husband and her pops. Now, she might admit it when Vince is dead.
She probably admitted it in Pillow Talk with
No,
Triple H.
she'll probably admit it when they're low in ratings and they need ratings. That's when the real shit comes out, when they need money.
They're gonna go back to the Phil Donahue show.
Oh, man. Yeah! We need to get Donahue back in this bad boy with good old Barry O-Ring up there. Okay, let's not get sidetracked.
Jesus Christ, did you say? Oh my God.
Moving on. The next inductee is from the celebrity wing, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Again, another one I got no problem with, man.
He's been involved with wrestling for a long time.
Yes.
He's an avid fan. He always said, if you go back and taste, his idol was Bruno Sammartino.
And I believe that.
He grew up. So, hey, I got no problem with that.
Yeah.
You know, You can go back to the Smackdown when Smackdown was getting started in the '90s. He was on there. Yeah. You know, he always came on there promoting his movies and doing stuff. So he's been on there multiple times. I have no problem with it. He even came back to put Bruno in the Hall of Fame.
I believe he did induct.
So that's what I'm saying. And Hogan too. I think he did the. Oh no, that was Stallone. Sorry, bro.
Stallone did Hogan.
Yeah, but the point what I'm trying to say is he always stayed around wrestling.
Yeah, he had big contributions back in the early '90s when Hogan had took over for him, because you know Arnold Schwarzenegger was like Ronald Reagan's the fitness guy or whatever. You know, he had inducted him as the fitness dude throughout the United States. Blah blah blah. This that and this. So Hogan took his spot in the early '90s when Bush took over in office. You know what I mean? So they had a camaraderie since then. You know, I have no problem with get down the chopper. I don't have no problem with him being in there. You know, I'd rather see him in there and other celebrities like him or Drew Carey or
William Shatner.
Yeah, William Shatner, Mr. Baseball. Mr. Baseball.
You don't disrespect
what are you talking about? I said William Shatner.
I want to see him in there.
You know him as Captain Kirk. I know him as T.J. Hooker.
Hey, either
Captain Kirk was better.
Denny Crane. You can go to any of them. He couldn't. Hey, but I'm saying he's on another level.
That's Priceline right there.
Hey, he gets a pass. Whatever he wants to do, he can do it.
But you know, there's guys that doesn't deserve to be in there. But you know, Mr. Baseball is another one. The cats that had something to do with the WWE, yeah, he deserves to be.
You mean Bob Uecker?
Yeah. Mr. Baseball.
I thought you were talking about Pete Rose.
You're talking about Tom Selleck.
Oh no, man.
We're way off.
I was talking about the Euchre, man.
I was saying Pete Rose already in the Hall of Fame.
No, I knew Pete Rose.
He had to go and get Tombstone
by Kane all the time.
3 years in a row.
Yeah.
That was hard.
So the next inductee, this is where the controversy is going to start.
We going there already?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Rikishi. Rikishi fought too. Part of the legendary family itself. He's going into the Hall of Fame, folks. And I'm going to just go out and tell you how I feel. Nope, shouldn't be in there. Not yet. I mean, you know, maybe down the line.
Not yet, never.
I would have put his twin brother in before I put him in. His twin brother was a fucking pioneer for the WWE back in the day. He was in the WWE's first movie, Body Slam. He was part of the Islanders.
Talking about the Tongan kid?
Yeah. To me, he was a much better wrestler than Rikishi. Rikishi's just getting in because of his fat ass. That's the only reason why they brought him back in the first place. When they brought his ass out wearing that fucking thong in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
And Hardcore Holly turned around and said, "You got more dimples on your ass than a fucking golf ball." You know? He's a deadbeat dad. You know? That son of a bitch couldn't even show up to his fucking son's funeral, or wedding. Some call it a wedding, some call it a funeral. But when you're married to Naomi, I don't think you're dying. Anyway, with that being said, no. And then they just showed that shit on Total Divas like last year. So everybody else is already saying, fuck that scumbag. And then they come out this year talking about he's going in the Hall of Fame. What the fuck, man?
The sad thing is they gonna make his boys put him in there.
Yeah, then they gonna have his boy. You know, and they shouldn't show up.
They shouldn't.
Sorry, Dad.
We had a payday.
We couldn't induct you. We couldn't show up.
$75.
We're wrestling a big match tomorrow.
Look, this piece of shit takes a $75 to $100 because he's not getting paid much for appearances.
Maybe $800.
Maybe something like that.
A high school gym show.
Yeah, or something like that. To miss your son's wedding, I mean, that alone should disqualify you from any kind of Hall of Fame. He didn't even have a Hall of Fame career.
But
I'm sorry. What did he do? Dance around with Scotty 2 Hotty and Funk Master Sexy? You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man.
All they put him on for was his fat ass. Because when he was fought to make a difference, he wasn't shit.
Whoa, what? Hey, he did go back to his hood and say, I'm making a difference.
See, we didn't make a difference in
shit.
Couldn't even make a difference in his son's lives.
No, he wasn't even the dad with it. They knew
Umaga was the damn. Umaga took that role of the father for them.
They knew he wasn't going to show up. Like, nah, he ain't showing up.
There wasn't nothing about that nigga that said Hall of Fame.
That damn documentary they got that. Was that 20 Hours in Houston? Or
I seen it. 6 hours in Houston.
Pretty damn good. It's on the WWE Network.
Yep.
For
I would
$9.99.
Yep. Shouts out to Umaga for doing that, for taking them in and making them pro wrestlers, man.
He kind of dead, so.
Well, it still shouts out to him,
that
dead
was
or
big
alive,
ups,
man.
though,
You know,
yeah,
I mean, it is
they
what
had
it
with
is.
nothing but a
No,
piece of shit.
I don't agree with them putting Rikishi in just for. I'm not gonna sit up here and say that he wasn't a decent wrestler. Of course, he was a decent wrestler, but he's not a Hall of Fame caliber wrestler in the first place.
Well, here this is the argument that we didn't brought this up on many occasions.
Rubbing your fat ass in people's faces don't make you a Hall of Famer.
There's wrestlers that were decent, like you said, decent wrestlers, good wrestlers, and then there's Hall of Fame wrestlers. Everybody that wrestled in the WWE should not be allowed to be in the Hall of Fame, because then you're gonna end up like the fucking the NBA Hall of Fame, where everybody got in. Just Bill Walton's a Hall of Famer, and this man scored 6,000 points. You know what I mean? You know?
I don't understand that.
And that's ridiculous. But going back to the WWE, everybody that wrestles in wrestling should not get into the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean?
I agree.
That everybody's not Hall of Fame, because that devalues your Hall of Fame. Everybody's not Hall of Fame material. And Rikishi is not. And along with that next group that we're about to talk about.
Well, I can just give you some stats. Give you Rikishi stats. Let's see, he's a one-time Intercontinental Champion. He's a one-time WWE Tag Team Champion with Scotty 2 Hotty. World Tag Team Champions. So he's a 3-time tag champ. And
He's a 10-time deadbeat dad. Yes.
I think he got like 7 kids. So that's
Oh fuck.
But and then we all grew up looking at PWI. He won Comeback in the Year in 2000, and then PWI had him ranked number 27 and the top 500 in 2000.
And that's where I got a problem with the credibility of that fucking ranking system at that time.
Yep.
There is no way in hell that motherfucker's 27th in the world. At any time.
No way. He's not
At any time.
Not even 100.
I'm just saying that.
You gotta be shitting me.
That's because he did it for The Rock. I did it for The Rock.
Matter of fact, and wasn't that around that 2000
That was around that
time?
time.
Sure as hell was.
You know what I
That's
mean?
why they put that bitch over.
Yeah. For real, man. Fuck him.
So with that being said, no, we don't agree with Rikishi going in the Hall of Fame. So the next one up is from the Divas division. Women's division, Divas division, whatever you want to call it.
Medusa.
Another controversial inductee. Medusa, Alundra Blaze, she's going in. I got no problem with her going in, man.
You can't argue with it. She got the stats, 7-time women's champion. You know, she will always be remembered for dropping the fucking WWE
And that's what.
women's title in the trash can on Nitro. You know, even though Eric Bischoff punked her into it, and
Yeah.
then later on came back and said, "Oh shit, I wouldn't have did it."
Yeah,
But, hey,
I wouldn't have did it, but it was great
You
television. You scumbag, but you put your punk ass son out there, and he can't wrestle his way out of a wet paper bag. That motherfucker can't do a tackle cover hip toss spot without fucking tripping and falling on his 2 left feet ass. Him and that Briscoe boy, they both
Man,
ain't
how
shit.
you gonna be a Briscoe and you gonna be sorry like
That
that?
motherfucker ain't no Briscoe. That motherfucker looked like he was adopted. Shit.
Now, okay, on Alundra Blaze, Medusa, whatever the fuck her name is. Look, okay, granted she has the stats. I can't really make a gripe about her not going in, because she's as a woman wrestler. Yeah,
She was
she's
one of the best.
Yeah, she's Hall of Fame material. But look, I'm gonna say this.
I remember when she was with the Dangerous
She
Alliance.
dropped the fucking belt in the trash can on national TV. I ain't forgot that. That was bullshit to me. I don't care if Eric Bischoff had her do it. She should have had the fucking gall to tell him no. You know what I mean? Because one day she made no. Because look.
They
One
probably
day,
paying her good money.
look. No, but still, one day she was gonna need to at least come back to the WWE, because unless she thought the WCW was gonna be the end all and be all to wrestling, which it wasn't. And a lot of people thought that, the WWF is done. And they're sitting back watching the WWE right now while WCW is out of business. You know, so she shouldn't have dropped the title in the trash. Now, you could have brought the title there, and you could have did it just like Flair did. Covered up, I'm the real women's champion. I'm the real woman's this. She could have did it on that route. She didn't have to put that title in the trash. That was fucking Bush League.
There's only one thing I gotta say about that, though. When Ric Flair did it, that was the NWA title. That was the fucking Mid-Atlantic NWA title.
That was the WCW title.
Right, which it manifested from that though. There's no way that you could throw that belt away. And they cubed it out, but just like you had explained, he still made that belt mean something in a different company. Because it did. That belt is very prestigious. Now this women's championship, you got Wendy Richter. Moolah had the shit for 30 years. You know what I mean? So I mean, you know, it is what it is. I don't think she should have did it either. And she could have told him, you know.
Yeah, she could.
They wouldn't have forced her to throw that belt in the trash can. She brought the shit up to him. Hey, I still got the belt. What do you want me to do with it? Well, bring it with you.
She could have ran over that motherfucker and sent it back to Vince McMahon, just like Stan Hansen did the AWA time.
No, she should have kept it at her house. She should have just kept the belt at her house. She didn't have to throw it in the garbage can. But again, hey, it might be a forgiveness Hall of Fame, because if you're saying that Macho Man bent Stephanie over in the locker room, you know, and they're letting him go in, then now they're gonna let Alundra Blaze go in too.
Yeah,
you know?
but she deserved it. I mean, you get past it.
She's a great wrestler, and so is the Macho Man. Yeah. You know, same thing.
I can get past it, but I mean, I still ain't.
That's probably what took so long for her to get in.
It was full of shit.
Absolutely.
What was the next?
So the next one is, you know, a tag team from New Zealand, the Bushwhackers. Great tag team, you know.
Good team.
Good comedic tag team crew. Been together for a long time. They got a lot of.
They was together 36 years.
Yeah, they got a lot of history together and stuff. Hall of Famers? I don't think so. I wouldn't put them in all. There's too many good tag teams that need to go on before them. You know? And more recently, if you check out the WrestleHeads link on Facebook, as I occasionally do, you know, you'll see that the question was raised, why in the fuck ain't the Steiner Brothers in there? So like when you start thinking about the Steiner Brothers, who in my mind is the greatest tag team of all time, and then you're telling me they're not in there, but you're gonna put these guys in here with no championships from WWE. It raises the question as to what the motherfucker are you doing, assholes? You're fucking up. That's what you're doing. You're fucking up big time. You know how many goddamn tag teams deserve to go in there before you put these motherfuckers in here with their fucking swap meet fucking pants and those fucking white beaters from Kmart? You're telling me that these motherfuckers deserve to go in before the fucking Harlem Heat, before Demolition, before the fucking Steiner Brothers, before the fucking Brain Busters?
The Rock and Roll Express?
The Rock and Roll Express is not in there!
Midnight Express? Wait, hold on.
Which Midnight
one?
Express?
Bobby Eaton and Dennis Condrey. Oh, that's the one. Not a Stan Lane. That dude was garbage.
So I'm trying to figure this out, because I'm really thinking really hard about this, and I'm wondering to myself, why on earth did the Bushwhackers get the nod over everyone else? Randy, please, enlighten us with some stats. Tell us why this happened.
Let's see.
Because I know licking people's heads didn't do it.
Man, for real.
I mean, they won championships in all other places other than
who gives a
shit? Don't matter.
They didn't fucking win the belts in the WWE when it counted.
Star Wrestling.
Star Wrestling? That's like Music City Wrestling. Who ever heard of that shit? For real.
Over in Puerto Rico, they won it like 3 times.
With Carlos Colon?
God.
World Wrestling Council.
Yeah, in the same fucking building that Bruiser Brody got stabbed in the shower. What a fucking coward.
And nobody seen what happened.
That's such bullshit, bro. Wrestling lost. That was a big hit to wrestling when that happened.
Charles just...
Tony Atlas, no.
Hey, shit, he was just looking for a cell phone.
James canceled the show, that freaking fuck.
Hey, poor guy, he doing bad. He's trying to get people to help him save his house right now.
Is he? So wait a minute, the WWE gave him a second chance. Yeah, they gave him a second chance. They gave him some more paychecks, and he's a Hall of Famer for the WWE. So where the fuck is the money going?
Crack?
No.
Dog's play.
No. Tony always been in good shape. I don't see him doing drugs. I think he might manage his money wrong or something.
Hey, he was looking for a cell phone.
Yeah, I remember what he said on the MTV show. Sometimes I hide money from myself so I don't spend that shit.
Yeah. And you just took all what the Bushwhacker thing, you took that all from me. No, hell no. These motherfuckers, they to me, they weren't even...
And then PWI fucking put them in there. PWI ranked them number 71 out of the 100 best tag teams in the PWI years.
Yeah, but you know what? 71 out of 100, I can understand that.
Hell no, they ain't even...
No, it's much better than Rikishi being number 27 out of 500.
Yeah.
71 out of 100, you know what? I'll accept that one. Dave Meltzer, I'll give him a fucking pass.
They shouldn't even be on the damn list. For one, the Bushwhackers, like I was just saying about Rikishi, there's good wrestlers, there's okay wrestlers, and there's Hall of Fame wrestlers. The Bushwhackers were an okay tag team, mediocre at best. What the fuck did they do to deserve to put them in the Hall of Fame? I'm sorry. They're devaluing the Hall of Fame with this shit. You know what I mean?
They don't have the credentials to get in.
I thought it was bad when Coco Beware was in there. And I'm black and I'm saying that. And I like the black guys in there. Coco Beware was sorry as hell.
That was a fucking affirmative action move, and we all know it.
Man.
Shit. Coco Beware did not qualify to be in the Hall of Fame.
Hell no. What the bird qualified to be in the Hall of Fame?
Not even from singing the theme song to No Holds Barred.
Or what was it?
No Holds
Body.
Barred.
What was that song? Power Drive or whatever. He did that song where they did the little. They had the whole construction thing. Power Driver. That's whack. Man, get the fuck out of here with that. With those short shirts on, those tight jeans. Fucking logo.
That nigga had one of the worst drop kicks I ever seen in my life.
Coco Beware was garbage.
Yeah, but he's a Hall of Famer. So I mean, hey.
One heart, high energy.
Oh man. And before that, it was what, the New Heart Foundation with fucking the anvil and On Heart looking like fucking Aladdin with those fucking pants on. The niggas had on sashes and shit. Like, what the fuck? What are you doing?
MC Hammer pants?
Man, nigga, that shit looked worse. They had them niggas looking like some broke ass Sabus out there. That's one of the worst things I ever saw. But let's not get sidetracked. So the last inductee that the WWE is put into the Hall of Fame is a little bit of more of a, is more on a touching side and everything. The kid that lost his battle, Connor, I don't know if I'm gonna say his name right, Michelik or Michelik.
Crusher.
The Crusher. They're gonna honorarily do this and put him in. Now the only thing I have to say about this, the WWE better not be doing this for just publicity. You better not be doing this for acceptance or for publicity. You know, if you're doing it purely out of the kindness of your heart, I got no problem with it. But with you doing this, you better start putting a lot of other kids in there. You can't just single one kid out. There's a lot of sick kids that love the WWE. And I don't mind you starting an honorary warrior ring or award for that. You know, it's a beautiful
warrior.
Now, on that, it's like, I don't have a problem with that, you know. I just, like you said, I just hopefully it ain't just for
It's not just a publicity
you know,
thing.
and if they do put other kids in, they need to put other kids of other ethnic backgrounds in there. Because you know how the WWE gets sometimes. And hopefully it's just not, you know, what I think it's going to be. And I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Just saying. You know.
Randy, you have anything to touch on that?
I'm just, you know, I'm glad they honoring the Ultimate Warrior with something nice like that. Because if you sit there and think about it, it was just crazy how the Warrior, not to get off the kids, but how the Warrior passed away. The last time you seen him was the Hall of Fame, did the next night on Raw, where he got honored like that.
Yeah,
and I was like, because I remember watching that, and I'm like, damn, the Warrior's limping. I'm like, well, he don't look right, but you never know that sometimes this might be the last time you see somebody. And I mean, just that speech, it's like, that's why they keep repeating that speech, because it was just so heart-wrenching. Yeah. And basically, he was summing up himself in that one speech. And you just think about it, the next day, gone. He went and made it back home, going to dinner with his wife, finished dinner, walking out to the parking lot, and just dropped dead. And I mean, and I give the WWE credit for honoring him. And you know, they had a long history. And I mean, it's nice that Warrior, maybe he knew he was going to die, I don't know. But he sat there and made up with Hogan. You know, we all know he was right that Hogan's a scumbag.
Yeah, and we'll never forget those promos in that back room, in that hunting room.
But this is also the same dude that was holding him up for millions of dollars to go out to perform a show at major pay-per-views, which was chicken shit too. And I mean, a lot of people forget about, which I forgot about it once he made that speech. I'm like,
nobody forgot about
you know, I'm like, yeah, you know, I like the speech, and it was really heartfelt. And like, man, this dude was really passionate about what he was saying. But on the flip end, man, I still can't forget that at SummerSlam, I forget what year it was, back in the early 90s, we held him up for $1 million, so he wasn't coming out to do the show unless he got paid $1 million, which isn't good for business.
A lot of people used to hold him up.
Yeah, but that
because you know why? Because the WWE didn't do what they were supposed to do.
But don't make it
with
right,
people.
though. Don't make it right.
Shit, Vince McMahon, the shit he pulled is not right.
Well,
but it's okay because he's the owner, the proprietor, and he's the fucking tyrant.
No, I'm not. I'm not giving him justification.
I mean, that son of a bitch, Vince McMahon, he got away with a lot of stuff. And you got to defend yourself. Only you going to fucking appreciate your worth.
One day, we're going to get into something that's really that's bothering me, and it bothers me about the WWE.
Brock Lesnar making $5 million a year. That shit bothers me.
But in
for
other
3 matches a year.
And other stuff where people got to operate with impunity and stuff.
I have a problem with Pat Patterson fucking all those kids.
There you go.
Fucking all those men and shit.
There you go.
And they just fucking act like that shit just. He's the Jerry Sandusky of pro wrestling. And nobody says anything to him.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, it's all cool because Pat is Pat.
Yeah. Yeah. And when he running up in them niggas' ass, he's called Project Pat.
But see, no. But see, the thing, the thing is, I'm not gonna go that far. I'm not gonna go that far and say this. But Vince McMahon, you piece of shit, and I'm sorry because you let him operate and doing that shit for years. But we rather get back to what we're doing. But one day we're gonna have a show about that, and we're gonna let wrestling fans that don't know, we're gonna let you guys know what's going on.
And I told you,
what's been going on.
He's about as bad as the perpetrator.
Yeah.
When you sitting there, you know what's going on.
And you allow it.
And then you not only you allow it, you protecting people when you sneak them in there and still let them have a job. Pat Patterson should have been blackballed for wrestling years ago. But magically, you keep seeing his picture at new events.
He was on Legends House.
Just because he's Stephanie's goddaddy.
Or what was it? You know, they was on the Phil Donahue show in '91. Oh, he's putting in his resignation, and then he comes back in the Attitude Era. How does that happen? Like people forgot. Yeah, you know. But we digress. We'll get on that on a special topic day.
Stop drilling in little men, motherfucker. Anyway. So with that being said, that's who's in the Hall of Fame so far. Like I said, no, we didn't mean to get sidetracked with Connor Michellic. Rest in peace. We have to move on. So Monday Night Raw was good. Really set the stage for some WrestleMania stuff. Basically getting the gears grinded out. They got 2 more weeks to make it work before the show. And
Roman Reigns doing his job.
I got to tell you, man. It just looked a whole lot better with Brock Lesnar being there on Raw. He didn't have to say a word, but he came out, he brought the title with him. Paul Heyman took it from there. One of the best promos you've heard in a long time. But I want to really dissect that promo a little bit, and I got to tell you what I thought about it. I thought that once Paul Heyman started mentioning the Ultimate Fighting and stuff like that, that tells me something, man. Like either they got a deal going, or something, because they just don't mention the other company on their show unless there's a deal in place. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I mean, now UFC on the other hand, they'll mention WWE every time they get a chance to. But WWE usually doesn't do that. They won't mention TNA, Ring of Honor, or UFC, or anything like that, unless there's a company or something. Yeah, unless there's a deal in place. Yeah. So then I have to ask: is this gonna be Brock Lesnar's last show in the Raw after Mania? Or has he re-signed a deal? Are they going to let him operate in both organizations? I mean, we don't know what to think right now.
Well, the way I look at it is this. I believe I'm with you on that one. I believe that there is a deal in place with him to do that Bobby Lashley shit. Because they want to name the UFC and unifying this, unifying that, unless something was in place. Because WWE just doesn't do that. Now, what I believe was best, I'm not going to go into how I believe, but I believe that title needs to be off him. Because they can put the title on him, because, they can put the title on him anytime they want. You got to remember, this outcomes are predetermined in this business. If he is going to the UFC, let him go to the UFC. And if he happens to win the world title, then you put the WWE title back on him and you let him walk into his next UFC match with both titles. You know what I mean? But you don't keep the title on him. You don't keep the title on him.
And let me point this out. Let me point this out, okay? He can't hold the WWE title going into UFC, although it would be cool to see. We can't have that happen because what if he goes back to UFC and gets his ass kicked? I want to point out to both of you gentlemen that Alex Overeem just whooped Roy Nelson's ass last night. He wants Brock to come back again for another one.
Yeah.
So
Brock goes back.
So I'm gonna be honest with you.
So he get Vader punched in his guts to death.
If he does, I don't want him taking the belt with him.
Well, I don't believe he needs to be champion. I believe his championship reign, whether
it's coming. I
know we all
agree. 2 defenses.
I know we all agree that he needs to drop the title, but in how he drops the title, and how he drops the title in we disagree in some ways. You know, I know that from our meetings that we have, you know, before we tape. But I believe that title needs to be off him at WrestleMania. No matter which way they go, either it's Roman Reigns or give it to the kid I believe that deserves it more than that Seth Rollins. I mean, whatever which way they go, I believe that the title needs to be off him at WrestleMania, period. He should not walk out of WrestleMania with the title. It should have been off him a long time ago. You don't put the title on a part-time wrestler this fucking long. When they did it with The Rock and CM Punk back a couple years ago, even though this guy's gonna say it was a goddamn disgrace, I understood why they did it. I'm not saying okay, I would have let CM Punk go over on The Rock at the Royal Rumble, then I would have took it off him the next month, and then ultimately you were going to put the title back on Cena, and that's the way they were going, so I understand why they did it. But this shit, how long has he had the fucking belt? Since SummerSlam. This is fucking retarded. This guy barely shows up, you know, and when he does show up, he's not in ring on Raw. He's in ring just looking, standing there, looking, do a couple F5s to Mark Henry or whatever the case may be, and he's out of there. You know what I mean? He's not there defending the title. He's not in a tag team match. He's not, man. He's not doing anything with the title. Yeah, Roman Reigns did. You know?
I'm just waiting.
But you know, my thing is, I'm gonna end it with this, and I'm gonna let you go ahead. The guy doesn't defend, or you know, he's hardly ever on Raw anyway. We could go months at a time where he's not even there with the title. All you hear is Paul Heyman talk about the reigning and defending. Oh, shut the fuck up. We don't want to hear that half the time. We want the title on fucking Raw. I'm just saying.
Randy?
Oh, okay.
Since we were experiencing technical difficulties of last week's show.
Oh, no, don't worry. He's still my kitchen, bitch. I got a special spot for him. But I want to get into this right now. Vince McMahon, your old ass is getting fucking soft. I fucking swear. For this to even be a fucking idea, to be floating around where Brock, and notice, he's telling you like, hey, I want to be UFC champion, I want to be WWE champion, and I want to do them together at the same time. Vince, what the fuck is wrong with you, you stupid son of a bitch? To even fucking let this shit even get this fucking far. You let this motherfucker be a goddamn terrorist to you. You do not negotiate with terrorists. And this motherfucker sitting here telling you what he gonna do. This motherfucker saying, oh, fuck you, I'm walking out. How do you let this shit happen? I'm sorry. Brock, I would have said, you know what, you piece of shit? Get out. Leave this fucking title. You know, matter of fact, take it with you. I have another one made. You do not dictate shit to me. I am the end all and be all. And you sit here and you let this motherfucker get away with this shit. It is no way. I don't give a fuck he come back on fucking Raw. He's fucking tainted. I can't unforget WrestleMania 20.
Man, I definitely don't forget that shit.
That shit don't fucking go out of my head. Even though, just like what they try to make us forget about Chris Benoit fucking going prime time, I can't forget Brock, fucking him and punk ass Goldberg with that fucking piece of shit motherfucker. He need to not even say nothing, and he keeps talking. I'm like, won't you shut your old ass up, raise your kid, be a dad.
Yeah. You want shit to begin with.
And you fucking sitting here, for you to even fucking sit here and be thinking about like, oh yeah, that don't sound bad. Hey, yeah, we can let him do that. First off, wrestling is gonna be second. Because when you're in UFC, you're training all the fucking time. That's all you're doing is training. So instead of wrestling 3 matches a year, he's gonna be wrestling 2, no, not even 2, 1. Probably WrestleMania.
Maybe.
He gonna be the new modern day Undertaker. I'm sorry, Brock Lesnar hasn't done shit to earn making $5 million a fucking year for 3 fucking matches.
That's crazy.
Then this son of a bitch come out with his goddamn logos and shit on the fucking goddamn pants, which was CM Punk's idea first, and they let that son of a bitch do it. So he's making money off of that. Every time he come out, he wearing that fucking t-shirt. Which supposed to be just a WWE t-shirt, but his sponsors all over the back, so he's making his sponsor money. And you know he's making more than he did in UFC, because they don't even show these sponsors like that.
Only on the little tarps.
This fucking turd is sitting here making all this goddamn money. And it's not enough. He wants more. So I'm wishing upon a star. I want you to go back to UFC. I know Mr. Overeem is ready for you. I know his Dutch ass or whatever, fucking Netherlands ass,
From
Holland, whatever. He's gonna Vader punch his bitch ass to death. Your guts still ain't good.
That's bad guts.
Real bad guts.
Real bad guts. Pop's got a boom boom.
Brock Lesnar, you a piece of shit.
Man.
I'm gonna say something for later, but you a piece of shit. Vince McMahon, you used to be beautiful, man. What the fuck's
I
happening?
think he's lost touch. I think he has.
A lot of people sit there just like Chop.
You ready to give him that bullet like
Man.
Ordell gave De Niro?
Exactly.
You used to be beautiful, man.
It's time for Vince to be taken out back and put down.
Yeah, I believe so.
It's time.
Yeah, because he shows starting to see the rabbits.
Because eventually, if you keep letting him do what he's doing, he's gonna run the company in the ground just like Vern Gagne did. Because I put it like this: Vern Gagne's son, what was his name? Greg Gagne should have took over that business.
Good wrestler.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was decent. You know what I mean?
No, he was good.
Yeah, he was good. He was good, and he stayed faithful to his daddy when he should have came over to the WWE in the '80s. You know what I mean? But he stayed faithful to his daddy. But he should have took over that AWA business way before Vern had to sell it, because Vern lost ideas in the beginning of the '80s. He started losing ideas for the company. Yeah, stuck in his ways, and Vince is doing that same shit. You know what I mean? He's stuck. He's stuck in his ways. He's losing ideas for the company. It needs to be somebody else. I saw reading I saw like a post on YouTube like a couple days ago now on Facebook. I'm sorry about that. It said Shane O'Mac, please come back and save us. Somebody. Wow.
He was the heir apparent,
Yeah.
but I think he sensed that he was
His
never
daddy
going
wasn't gonna never give it up.
He was never gonna give it up until.
So he's basically the Andre of the family.
But you gotta understand.
Without the mental
But
problem.
but Shane seen. Remember, Shane's not a spring chicken. He seen what Vern did to Greg. You know what I mean? And he didn't want that shit to happen with him and Vince. So he was like, okay, I'm just gonna take a step back. You know what I mean? But Vince needs to give it up. You know, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? You need to give it up. You know? Because your ideas are just not working anymore. You can know when it's a Vince McMahon idea because the shit stinks. I'm sorry.
So with that being said, Randy Orton did the good old usual turn. Well, should we just call it a classic turn?
Yeah.
On the Authority.
This had to be the best turn he ever did.
Yes, it was great.
Painted the picture, told the story, and they set the match.
Yep.
Orton versus Rollins at WrestleMania. And honestly, this is, I gotta play your card here. This is the time for Orton to put Rollins over.
I agree.
He's gotta elevate the young guy.
Of course.
Get him ready, because he's going to the belt.
Of course.
Because what?
He should be at the belt at WrestleMania.
Because Orton was what, a 10-time champ? Somewhere
Something
around
like
that?
yeah.
I'm like, okay, you going to the Hall of Fame. You making big money. It's like, you probably get the title maybe 2 more times to push you to 12. You know, it's time, you got this new kid. It's time to push him to that next level.
Yep.
And shit, you know what was a fucking stat that I seen the other day? Out of 45 matches on TV Seth Rollins been in, he only won 5. 5. And that's why I said, you think about it. He's over. That's one of the rare times you see somebody where they over so much, you don't even forget that the motherfucker lose more than he wins.
That's the way they was doing Daniel Bryan.
And
Dolph Ziggler.
And you see, and you gotta remember, the same thing. It's like the same thing with Roman Reigns too. It's like the same thing with Roman Reigns. You see more nowadays. Roman Reigns lose way more than what he wins.
They always make the guys that are getting ready to go over eat crow before they do it. And I never understood that. I'm a firm believer too that you need to look good going into WrestleMania. You need to look good. You need to look strong. You need to go in there and be dominant. And you getting your ass kicked every
That motherfucker get a free pass.
You getting your ass kicked every week, and then you tell us that you're going to win the title. I mean, that's been their logic for some years now.
Yeah,
and I just don't like that shit.
Well, it is like what you're saying, you know, Orton, I'm going to piggyback off of that. Orton does need to put over the younger talent because, you know, you need, look, like Randy said, you'll get it 2 more times. You know, your Hall of Fame resume is set in stone. You definitely deserve to be in the Hall of Fame or a lot of guys that's in there. Some of the guys that's in there. You know,
He's going to go in as the youngest champion.
Yeah, but at the same time, I say this: you need to put over Seth Rollins because I'm a firm believer that.
And that's why Randy Orton's gonna win at WrestleMania.
I'm a firm. I'm a firm believer that Seth Rollins is walking into Raw next night with the title. I just don't see no other way.
But see, here's the thing though, man. I agree with that, but in order for that to happen, Seth Rollins is gonna have to beat Randy Orton, and he's gonna have to beat Randy Orton without the authority shit, without all of that other shit. They have to make it look like Orton being pissed off, being like. They got to make it look like Orton being as pissed off as he is, with all the fury, all the heat, the return, everything, still ain't good enough to beat Seth Rollins. And that's the way it has to be right now. I think that's the way they're going. That's the way it has to be right now.
And the key to all him holding that title is that they didn't. Sheamus is returning at WrestleMania.
He gonna win the Andre the Giant probably.
But Sheamus is returning.
Kick everybody.
But there's been rumors going around that Triple H after WrestleMania is going to come back with a new authority. Like he's going to scrap like half the people like Big Show and Kane and them, you know, and he's going to bring in some of the NXT guys. I just see it happening, man. I really do. I mean, but hey, you know, I digress. You know, when we get to that point, we'll talk about it more. We're going up until WrestleMania. But I really believe, I'm just giving you a teaser here, I really believe Seth Rollins is walking out with that title and he's walking into Raw the next night with the belt.
If it happens, I have no problem.
I don't care if Roman Reigns walks in with the belt, as long as the belt's off of fucking Brock Lesnar. There you go.
So with that being said, there's also some news for the U.S. Championship. The WWE is set to give Rusev a very big entrance at WrestleMania. I know they're playing this role where he's mad at Lana right now. Randy, give us some more information about that.
Well, right now, Lana filming a movie with WWE 11-time Hall of Famer, 11-time World Champion, Hall of Famer Edge right now. So that's why she was missing. So she's gonna use that when she come back. They're gonna give him this grand entrance. Probably gonna be like Russian soldiers and everything at WrestleMania. Probably him coming down. But kind of like that year when John Cena had all them John Cenas.
Yeah.
Standing there, and he ran past all of them. It's probably gonna be Rusev walking past all of them.
They should have Nikolai Volkov bring them out.
Yeah, they should.
That'd be dope.
Yep, they should.
That would be hard, bro.
Didn't have some vodka kick Volkov.
Talking about, you know what you're doing this for. You know?
But didn't he defect? Yeah, that's when he started wearing he was with a tag team with somebody.
No, that was when he got bought.
Yeah, by Ted DiBiase.
Ted DiBiase bought him and put that wig on him.
Yeah, that was fucked up. Nikolai like that.
And we also got some more news on that Bill DeMott situation. Now, there are more people coming out saying that Bill DeMott was abusive towards him. Former TNA female wrestler Raka Khan, the one that was being stalked by Kurt Angle after she stopped giving Kurt Angle the ass.
Wow.
You know, she's coming out saying that I guess Bill DeMott, abused her and stuff when she was in NXT. Like I said last week, I'm not gonna get too much into it. But you guys need to suck that shit up and deal with it. He's getting you ready for the business.
But see, you gotta look on the other hand, fella. You only supposed to do so much. All because you get somebody ready for the business, I don't mean you kick him in the balls, you sit there and fucking talk shit to him all the time. Well, I understand talking shit to him, but you can't sit there downplay him, call him fairies or stuff like that. You know, sitting there saying them things all the time.
Swear.
But see, you can't say it all the time.
Oh, I give you that. But look, this is my thing.
My whole thing is at least he ain't fucking him.
Hey, Pat Patterson, he is not doing that.
But see, you never know. See, that could be the next thing. You know,
well, that shit comes out.
No, see, what happened if women had to sleep with his ass to try to get a shot? Then what you gonna say then? Then that's okay too?
Well, then we know why Summer Rae's up there.
She sucks. Well, okay, but back to DeMont. My thing is this. The things that he's saying to him, that they're going to hear worse from the fans. You know what I mean? They're going to hear worse from the fans, you know? Like, hardcore wrestling fans are going to give it to him worse. You know what I mean? Hey, this guy's still going through things.
Because they ain't got no business.
They suck,
They ain't got no business on that roster.
I hear you.
I'm sorry.
But at the task, what we're talking about,
She better not. Vince better not have drove her to the room, nigga.
It's this.
You gotta realize this.
Fans are gonna say worse things to him. They need to suck it up and quit being Titanic bitches. That's
just like it's a report that the issues with DeMont was no secret amongst people within the company, and many surprised that he still had a job. They was feeling that the controversy was a time bomb that could go off at any time. So people, that's another thing where they turn the blind eye to, where they sit here and knew this shit was going on.
You know what they didn't turn a blind eye to?
And see, and that shows that's a fucking culture of that shit. Just like how you was talking about the whole sexcapades and all that shit, this is just another thing that they knew about and they turned a blind eye to. They sit here knowing about this shit. You should have fired his fat ass. See, that's why I said it's no excuse for that.
But everybody's not the NFL. They don't just fire people just because the public wants them to.
No, you fire people to stop a damn problem. If you sit here and you tell his fat ass like, hey, you sorry bastard, you sucked in WCW. Don't be fucking trying to pull this shit. This ain't the power plant.
Well, he wasn't a part of the power plant anyway. It was the sergeant.
Sergeant.
So either way,
Did he get his fat ass trained over there?
no, he was already a wrestler before he came. No, but the thing is, you know, I don't know. I think people need to get thick skin. I mean, wrestling training, that's what wrestling training is about. I mean, you saw it even when Hogan first learned how to wrestle. He broke his leg first day. Like, that's just the way shit goes sometimes.
You know, that was Iron Sheik's thing too. He loved
I don't remember when they showed them videos when people was getting trained in a dungeon, they was getting called names like that. No, Old Man Hart.
They were too busy screaming.
Exactly. Old Man Hart. Now you want to talk about torture shit like that? Then you say that he was stretching the shit out of him. That's training. Now you sitting there fucking verbally assaulting them all the time.
How do you know that didn't happen?
Well, he did verbally assault him with that Irish music in the background. He did. But either way, look at how good the wrestlers were that came out of there.
That's what I'm saying.
You know?
And you see, you got all that. You got Mark Henry. It's a lot of people that came out of there. Brian Pillman, Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, Lance Storm, including all the
Bad News Brown.
Bad News Brown.
Jake Roberts.
No, he didn't come out of there.
No, that's saying.
I think his sorry ass father.
No, he wrestled up again. I'm just saying. I just have to throw that in.
I think his sorry ass father brought him in there.
So, on a different note, NXT hit the road. They are now giving them road experience, traveling into different towns and venues and doing shows. Is that a good idea or a bad idea? I think it's a good idea.
Great idea.
Yeah.
Shit, they making money.
Yeah, great idea.
How's it ever a bad idea?
I would love to see them live. They come out here and do the Citizens Business Bank Arena.
And I bet